Good morning, and welcome to This Week in Phenomenal-ness, part number 7. Wow, it's coming along. And I just wanted to kind of turn this down a little, but I do like the music. I just wanted to hear it. It's actually Danielle Gaw. She's an independent artist. So, first, let's just, give thanks for the day and open our hearts and our minds and our souls and just, place our attention. We're going to pause Danielle for a second. Let's place our attention on the things that we love. Find maybe one thing that's really, really important to you and just place your attention on it. And just, when you close your eyes, rest your eyes on this area between your two eyebrows. It's called the tis or till, or the third eye. And let's just welcome in this new energy as we get ready to start our next week in Phenomenal-ness. Deep breath in. Just let that out. Okay, well, wow, what a week of risks. So, I've kind of been structuring things in a way that we lay out a goal, or an activity, and we lay out some tools. So the two tools that I had this week to kind of really look at, and that everybody kind of had to look at this week, was the idea of values and the idea of the age-old question, why? And asking yourself why, from a positive standpoint, and really just looking at the things that, are the questions of why they're important in our life, and how they impact our life. So, this past week, I wrote on the wall about some of the risks that I took. I wrote them on the actual event list or page, and on the Phenomenal Girl Facebook page. And some of the things that I really identified this week in taking a risk, which was super cool, gotta say, was the whole idea that risks they come in like small packages, large packages. It really just depends on like what you consider a risk. One of the risks I took was a super big one for me. I've been really trying to get to this person for about 3 years, and I happened to stumble upon their information, not realizing it was them when I stumbled upon it, and called their office. And after calling their office, realized who I was calling. And lo and behold, I didn't get a gatekeeper calling me back. I actually got the individual calling me back. And it really felt good to just, be able to express myself with that individual and be blatantly honest, and feel like there was no holes that, there was no holes barred in the conversation, and it was appreciated. And there was like a reciprocation going back and forth between the two of us, and it was a really powerful experience. And what I found is, when I finished the call with that individual, while of course I was sweating and my hands were shaking and I was like totally like overwhelmed with like joy, I found myself needing to take a moment to really drop in to the feeling, as opposed to just moving on to the next thing. And I think that's one of the biggest things I learned about risk taking this week is, the whole idea that in life there's so much stuff going on all the time, that it's really important for us, when we have a win or we take a risk and it pays off or it doesn't pay off, that we actually sit in that feeling for a moment and really just feel it in every ounce of our being. Just really feel it, so that you actually filling your cup up, so that you can move on to the next thing, but take that experience forward with you, so that you can actually have you know forward movement, forward momentum. So that's one of the things that I really, really enjoyed about the whole idea of risk taking this week. And the tools definitely helped, because the whole question of why, and what the outcome of that why actually brings, really set forth like a whole other perspective. I felt like when you hear like the oh, I kind of felt like that was the experience this week, because I really got to ask myself those questions and challenge myself, instead of just walking into something not really being conscious of why I was doing it. As I use my hands so much, because I'm not like an expressive person who wants to use my hands all the time. And so, I think that the whole idea of Debbie Ford's idea of risk taking, and, like asking people, I did ask. That was one of the things that I felt was very useful. Is that, I had a conversation with a friend this weekend, And I asked her, I mean, I talked with her about the experience, and she shared with me how she felt. And, I really got to hear someone else's perspective. And it was really good for me to be able to hear somebody else's perspective in how to move forward with something. And so I highly recommend that the tools that are being put forth are divinely intertwined with the whole activity that comes up through the experience with Debbie Ford. And I, I just think it's priceless. So moving forward this week, in our week of phenomenalness, the two goals are not goals. Sorry, the two things, and goals is actually one of them, because I kind of keep bringing that back because I really feel like it's something that's an ongoing process, and I always will say that. The two tools this week that kind of came up for me was creating a top 10 list. So I'm just going to read to you what I wrote, and then let's just kind of talk about that whole idea of creating that top 10 list. So let's look at creating and framing a list of top 10 reasons to get what you want. Be it a degree, a job, a relationship, a car, whatever it is. Um, it's a really good thing to do in order to like bring forth that manifestation. And it's really good to make it visual. So put it on your desk. Maybe it's like a collage board, with your top 10 list attached to it. Or what I found, I know when I wanted my first BMW, what I did was I took a picture of a BMW and I put it on my iPhone desktop. So when I opened the phone, it was the first thing I saw, and it really just kind of it reinforced what it was that I was manifesting. Um, so, those are some ways you can really start using that. And it's really about whatever makes sense for you to see it daily to remind yourself, because visual reminders keep you going when the goals get tough or boring. Because sometimes they can get boring, and you lose the lackluster in them. So it's really good to be reminded. So visual, 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 visual. In my office I have visuals of my manifestation of what I'm creating with my company. I have one of like what I'm creating personally, and I think they're really useful. So creating a top 10 list, and for what you want, for the things that you want and what you want to get out of it are really important. And again, use your desk, use your phone, use your car. I hang things in my car to remind me and give me visual representations. In my bathroom when I'm brushing the teeth, sometimes I'll put a picture on the bathroom mirror. Those are all ways to really just like keep the momentum going and kind of like trickle it throughout your life, so that on your daily road there are things there that kind of like are like bling, I'm here, don't forget about me, remember what we're working on. And the other tool that really I wanted to kind of look at, now that we've been playing with goals, and I've been playing with goals for a couple of weeks now, is to reframe my goals and reframe your goals. And I'm just going to read what I wrote here. You're much more likely to be motivated when your goal is a positive one, and I have to say that is super true. And I've found that to be 100% true in the past couple of weeks. It's some of the goals are daunting, and the ones that I'm motivated about, I get done in a flash because I really want to get them done. I want to see the outcome. I want to see the results of it. And hi guys. So the two things that we're talking about today are creating a top 10 list, and looking at creating and framing a list of 10 reasons as to why you want to get what you want to get, whether it be a degree, a job, or whatever, and using things like visual representations to really frame that top 10 list. And the second thing is, as I always say, I've been working on reframing my goals, and I really feel like this week is to kind of look at goals again, and talk about the fact that we're much more likely to be motivated when we have a goal that is a positive one, and when we're moving towards something that we really want to accomplish. So what I'm looking at this week is revising my goals with positive words, so that I'm nourishing myself just as you can nourish yourself, with what you want, instead of denying yourself of the things that you don't want. It's that whole kind of law of attraction thing. And this over this past we're at week 7, so wow, it's been 7 weeks. Over this last 7 weeks, what I started doing was, call me crazy, but on the New York Housewives, Ramona, as crazy as she is, I love her for some crazy reason. She actually is a really successful at what she does, and